Hey guys, Time Machine Transport. One of our new drivers, Chris and I, are doing boards on his trailer today. And, well, let's go down over here, and we're giving you a good alternative to replacing your boards on your trailers. So, this one obviously has to get done. And this is 95 or 96 all aluminum Benson. But I almost guarantee these boards are original to the trailer. And obviously they look like it all the way down. You can see where it's broke through. So this one's our next trailer we got to get done. But anyways, and you can see where somebody pieced in some garbage there. However, on my trailer, rainy day here in Burlington, Wisconsin. So I had installed these boards myself. We got some cupping on this one, and then obviously forklift must have caught that, or a pallet or something. But this trailer was one of the first I bought, and it looked like the second one there. So anyways, this stuff was a little over $5 a foot. And it's a tree, I think, from Brazil, that it's self-sealing, and they say the board lasts forever, I guess. This has been on this trailer now for maybe 4 years, I think. 4 or 5 years, something like that. And it's held up very well. The thing is your width here on the older trailers is about 6 1/4 inches, I think, what it was. And so you had to rip down every one of these boards all the way down. And this wood is so dense. I mean, so dense. I probably went through about 100 drill bits drilling through this, and then the beam underneath. So this stuff is very dense. But the place that we normally get it at doesn't have it in stock, and they say the price went up dramatically, like $7 a foot. But as you can see, it's really lasted. I mean, minus a little bit of splitting or whatever, but there's no rotting in it at all. And they say it will never rot because it's already all sealed. So, and this was our first one we did. But because we didn't have it, and Chris, our new driver, we need to get him out on the road. His truck's just getting finished over by the mechanic. And so Chris and I went to the local Menards here in Burlington, and we came up with a solution. So this is a composite board. It measures 1 inch thick, but it's only 5 1/4 wide. So initially we were going to just kind of maybe rip them down and try to fill in the gap. But when hey Chris, so Chris and I decided that we're just going to run a gap in there. So it actually doesn't look too bad, especially when you stand up on the deck, and it can still be used for your nailer board. So basically what you have to do is, obviously you have to get to every beam underneath. I don't know if you can see it or not, but so you can't just overrun the board like underneath. You don't, like if your beam is here, your next beam is here, you don't want to overrun that. So say we were lazy, we didn't want to cut this board here, you can't run it to where there's no beam, because eventually that's just going to break. So you got to make sure when you do it that your board overrides your beam, so when you step on it, it's not going to break, obviously. A lot of guys don't know that. I know it seems elementary to some people, but excuse me, some people just don't know that. So just make sure that you go from beam to beam to beam. And if you have a longer board that, say, is this long, you're going to have to mark your beam and then cut it like Chris did there. And then you have to go down, you have to mark them all. all the way down, and then we're using hex heads, so it's easier. You're not going to strip out the screws, and because if we were to use a Phillips or a star bit, like on the star bit on my trailer, so we decided to use a 2-inch hex bit. So this is only an inch thick board, but we use 2-inch hex bits. So and that won't be a problem. So they can still nail into this, which is kind of nice. But all the way down, you can see what he's doing there. He's pre-drilling it. And what he's doing, he's just countersinking it. So then when the hex bit is actually sunk in there. So you're going to want to counter drill it first. And then he'll run it back with an actual bit. And he'll just countersink the bit in there. So, and these are self-tappers we're using. So, and it dries right through the aluminum, which is super nice. And it's a clean look. And like I said, it doesn't, I mean, the gap in it isn't bad at all. So, and this is never going to rot because it's a composite board. So, I think Chris and I came up with a pretty good idea. And this stuff here was in stock. Normally it's a special order, but some stores do have it, like Menards they have them in a stock board. You know, it's not a fancy color. So we went with gray to match the deck, and also gray it's not gonna get sun faded as much as like a dark one. They had black ones and they had brown ones. Black would have been kind of nice, but over the time I think it would have faded. But this stuff for a 12-foot board was only $27, a little over 27, I think like $27.58, I believe it was. And so do the math. If we needed 150 feet, and the Brazilian pre-sealed stuff was $8 to $10 a foot now, at 150 feet, you're talking $1,000. On my trailer that I did over there, I think with the screws, the board and everything, it was just under $1,000 because they have a specialized black star. The end of it is a star bit, and I think the final tally on that was like $958 with tax. So almost $1,000. Now we just bought 4 bits, 4 7/32 bits, and then a number 12 2-inch hex screw. And then the boards, and there was some other stuff on there as well, but I think it was only like $400. So you're really going to save quite a bit. Now, when you guys tear this stuff off, you got to actually get a big pry bar like that. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to drill down with like a 3/4 inch paddle bit and get in there. And ripping it out is really a bitch. It really is. So what you got to do is you got to come up with your own technique to rip this board out and start. And once you get the first one started, then you can start ripping them up. But the thing is, you could try to drive these out with another star bit, but they're just going to break anyways. So if you want to try to drill these out first and then pop the board up, that may work. It didn't work for me all the way across. So initially we started with the star, but then we ended up, they were just stripping out and busting, and the boards wouldn't come up and whatnot. So we ended up taking paddle bits and just drilling through, and then we got a Sawzall in there and ripped it all the way down with a Sawzall to the next beam. And to get the first board off is probably your worst. And then once you get your boards off across the whole thing, you have to grab an angle grinder with a cutting blade on it, or a cutting wheel, I mean. So you're going to have residual screws sticking out of the beams. So once you get all your boards off, then you got to take an angle grinder with a cutting wheel on it, and you got to slice them off even with the beam. So, and that's pretty much how you do it. So, but I think that this is actually your most cost-effective way to do it. It's going to last forever. Well, that's what they say. And there is a little bit of a lip here, not too much, and it will have water drain off in there. So Hopefully not a lot of debris gets down there. I'm sure it will, but I think this is probably the best solution. So if you guys want to do what we did and you want to replace all your rotted boards, Chris and I really think that this is probably the best way to do it. So unfortunately, well, it stopped raining here, so we pulled out the torpedo heater to stay a little warm, but I really think that this is your best option for the money. This is definitely your best option. So like I said, it was 27 something for a 12-foot board, and we got 13 of them, because it would be 12 for the outside, 12 for the middle, and I'm sorry, it'd be 4 for the outside, 4 for the middle, and 4 for this, a total of 12 boards. And then we got another one just for safe measure, so to cut or whatever. So but this is definitely the way I think you guys want to go. If you have company trailers or whatever, and whatever the case is. But hopefully if you guys find the video informative, please like the video and subscribe. We do videos here and there, and like I said, I just try to be as helpful as possible, and hopefully this video finds you guys well. God bless. Ciao.